Hi everyone, welcome to the creative workshop and we will get started. So today we will be doing the album redesign and we can ask questions while the host is presenting in the chat, please, to be mindful of the host. And if it's urgent, like you're troubleshooting, you can please message one of the executives, Faiza or Chantal or me or Ziad. Can the executives raise their hands? Yeah, so you can just message us privately if it's urgent. So we can get started. So here is our schedule for our creative workshop. We asked you to download the assets beforehand, so it's easier for you to follow. And then afterwards, we will finalize the Illustrator portion of the graphic. And then we will have a break. Then we will start the Photoshop session after the break and then finalize the poster and then have a little Q&A session. You can also ask questions then if it's not too urgent. And then we are thinking of ending the workshop around 7:30 to 8, but yeah. And here's the workshop structure. Faiza, do you want to take a go at it?
So for part one, we're going to start with Illustrator, and we're going to be creating a poster for Avril Lavigne's 2002 album, Let Go. If you can take a quick look at her album cover right now, if you'd like. We're going to work on typography, layout, just basic layout, learning how to create them all in outlines, and adding a radial blur on some of the text. And then we'll then take it over to Photoshop with Ziad.
Hello. So basically, we're gonna bridge the asset to Photoshop to finalize the poster and add textures and whatnot. So the cover techniques are such as follows: displacement maps, blending modes, gradients, and thresholds. And we're also gonna work with outside assets that are on the folder. Thank you, Gemma. Oh, Faisal. Yeah.
So I'll stop sharing and then Faiza will be leading the Illustrator portion.
Oh, just 1 second. Okay, can everyone see my screen? Okay, great. So how should we let everyone know that they've opened Illustrator? If everyone could give like a thumbs up once you have opened Illustrator, that'd be good.
We have 4 thumbs up, I think. If more people could let us know, or else we'll just get started now.
Yeah, okay. So we're gonna go to File, and we're gonna, first we're gonna create a layer with the background. And we're gonna import our Avril Lavigne photo that we're using, and it should be in the Google folder assets. I'm gonna align it here, and then we're gonna have 4 layers, which we're gonna have the title, the track list, and the album cover name. And the font should be available to you in the Google folder assets as well. So we're going to use the font here. Let me change the size. Okay. I'll just take it. here. Just stretch it out too. To give the color palette, we're going to use a dark red. Can be any color that you like though. We're just gonna take see a question here. Next, I'm gonna go to our, we're gonna add a new layer, and this will have our track list. And you can see the names of the album in the folder as well. And we're going to change it to the font here, and we're going to change the size as well. Let me see. Yeah, if you have any questions, if you want me to go slower, please let me know. We can take a quick pause. Okay. There's so much on my screen. I'm gonna bring it down to 21 or 20. We're gonna add all the song names. This up. And we're doing it here because it aligns with her like portrait shape, and it'll look better when we put it in Photoshop with the rest of the textures. And here since we have all the text, you're gonna right click or double click and create outlines, just so it's easier on Photoshop. So when you add different textures or different filters and stuff, it won't necessarily affect the text. Also, because it's quite thick, we're gonna add a stroke just to give it a poster feel. So we can put it a white stroke. Oh, that's too much. Set it lower. Zero 0.4. Now we're going to add another layer. We're going to write her name at the top. Here, and change the font back to the font that's at with the album cover name, just so it's cohesive. And bring it to 72 for now, the font size. Centered as well. And here, also create as outlines. And then we're gonna go to effects at the appearance. And we're gonna go to brush strokes. Oh, a blur actually. And we're gonna go to radial blur. And we're gonna set it to 14. It won't show you the preview right now, but if I click OK, it takes some time. It'll give the effect you can see here of a radial blur essentially. And since it's quite not that opaque, I'm gonna add another one. So we're just gonna copy and paste this. I'm gonna drag it. Just align it with the one up here. You can see it added more of an opaqueness. And now we're gonna write her name without the effect, just so it's legible to read. Yep. Effects is under appearance here. So if you go to properties, appearance, effects, and blur, radial blur should be there. Take this. So there's 3 layers here essentially of her name. And on the final layer, we're going to add a stroke, but not that strong. Bring it down. Okay. To 0.25, just so we can be able to see her name, but we will be adding more in Photoshop, more of a blur effect. And go back here. I'm gonna go back to the album. We're gonna create one second. I'm gonna add a new text over it with the same. I'm gonna use the same font on the track list and overlay it on top of this album name. What we're gonna do is having might have to take this one out, and we're just gonna try, we wanna stretch it out so it covers this half of the poster. Might be more darker. Just gonna make this the font should be available in the Google Drive folder. Just gonna make the font at 110 for the size. I'm gonna let go again with the different font on top. This is just for an overlay effect to create. It will add more texture so you can see both of the fonts in Photoshop. So this will be the basics for the Illustrator portion. You can finish, you can leave it here, or you can open up Photoshop in a few minutes and you can add some more effects, which Ziad will show you. But yeah, this is how your final result should look on Illustrator.
Is my screen working for everyone right now? I can't see. Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right. So first things first. What I've done is I've deassembled all the assets into 3 parts that will be necessary for this workshop. So you have first the name, then the image, and then the track list plus her name. So let me just open chat. All right. So now that you have all these assets, to do that, just go in Illustrator, hide the other layers, and save them. If you want me to wait for you to do that, just let me know, I guess. In the meantime, I'm just gonna adjust this. Okay. So what I'm gonna do first is align the name with like the blank name over here. I'm gonna align that with the whole thing just to make it easier for us to add effects on that. So on Illustrator, I deconstructed the entire graphic and we're gonna change the background color to black. So just click on your background. It should be white. So right click on your palette swatch and then with your bucket tool, just click on it. And then you're gonna have your black background. And now we're gonna play with the thresholds. So go to effects, adjustments. If you can't find them on your workspace, just go to the bottom. They're over here. So, oh my God, wrong effect. Threshold is right here, last line. So I'm gonna go with 140. Yeah, so basically what threshold does is it removes all the shadows and the lights and the shades and it just flattens the image overall. If anyone is getting lost, please just let me know so I can explain something or wait. To deassemble, if you're confused, just go on Illustrator and save every layer on its own by hiding them just like on Photoshop like this. So save the image on your own that you already have. For the text, just hide everything. Effects, I use thresholds. So you just go to effects right here. And it's here, thresholds and adjustments. So you won't find it in the effects tab. You can only find it in adjustments, which is at the, some people have it over here at the top of their workspace, but mine is over here. But for everyone, it should be at the bottom. Thank you, Faiza. So if everyone's ready, continue. All right. Then we're gonna play with gradients. So just like you selected the threshold, we're gonna select a gradient map. So double click on this to open up this window right here. And you have a wide selection of gradients. You can choose whichever you want. I'm gonna go with this one that I have. It's essentially just white and blues. So what you could do essentially is just like pick any gradient, switch this to like this cream color, and then this to like a blue. And as you can see, when you click on reverse, it kind of does the same effect um, as before. Okay. So I'm gonna go back to my original one. And I have like in the chat, just let me know if you're doing all right and whatever. All right, thank you. So then we're gonna add a sticker out now. So just go to your shapes. You can click on you and then right click on the tiny circle over here, depending on the thing. Oh, am I way, can people just like please answer in the chat? Am I way too advanced? Do you guys want me to go over anything else? Do you guys want to restart? So if you guys can please be responsive to what's happening right now, it would be very helpful. Okay. So if you guys don't know how to disassemble, basically what you have to do is save every layer separately on Illustrator. And to do that, you just have to hide all the layers that you don't want, just select those that you want, and then save under something. So I saved the text separately. As you can see, it says text for this one, and it's a PNG. Same for image right here. And same for the name separately. So save these three assets on their own. And I'm just gonna wait for 5 minutes for a few, and then I'm gonna continue. Okay. So can I continue, or does anyone need more time or anything? Please in the chat. If not, I'm just gonna take it as a sign as it's like you guys are doing fine, I guess. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna go over the threshold again. So adjustments, which can be found on your workspace, either at the top or here if you reorganized it, or at the bottom, just so you can find it over here. Thresholds right here. And let's click on threshold, 140. You can also play with the opacity if you want, but I won't be doing that because I don't see it as necessary. Then we're gonna go to gradient. Select any gradient that you want, that you feel like would fit your graphic. You can pick, let's say, make this red, and then make this white. Just know that certain colors are gonna appear on certain areas, and since it's threshold, keep it to a minimum of 2, because you only have 2 shades on your graphic. I'm just gonna have mine over here. Basically, the blue is on the sides and the yellows on the side. The colors in between don't really matter. So just pick whichever colors you want, I guess. And then I'm gonna add a sticker just to add the text which says out now. So I'm gonna go over and like click on T, which is the shortcut for text, and select the font that I want. So you guys can go for any bold mono font that's a header. I'm gonna go with this one and just type out now and click on yes. And for the settings, I adjusted the kerning to 200. So you see how when I slide to the left, slide to the right, it changes. I'm gonna stick with actually 160 over here. With this tab can be found right here, character. And for the distance, the spacing between the two rows, I'm gonna have at 30. And then I'm gonna change the color. I'm gonna actually just use the eyedropper tool to copy this. It doesn't really matter because it is the threshold. So it's gonna look like when we put underneath of both of these things. So you're gonna go to your workspace, drag it down underneath the threshold and the gradient map, and then just go over here, like put it anywhere. Then we're gonna select ellipse tool right here, drag it, make a shape, and then just